Stephen, in the wake of your campaign this year at the Crucible, you've made a momentous decision.
Yeah, as I said, I made my mind up about 3 months ago that enough was enough, basically, and my career, my snooker career wasn't going obviously the way I wanted it to go. I still believed I could play well, but when you're not putting the work in, you're not practicing, and you're not enjoying playing, the schedule and playing in these little tournaments and playing in boxes with no people watching, it just eventually, it was just grinding me down. And I've got a lot of commitments now for the future in China with an agent of mine, and basically I can't do both. I'll never be at home.
What was your mental approach like coming into the tournament, knowing that decision had already been made?
Well, I was very relaxed. A lot of people were saying, "Well, why were you so relaxed? And why did you go to China a week before?" And I knew what was coming. And consequently, I think why I was more animated than normal, making the maximum, because I knew that my last time at the Crucible I made another maximum, and that meant so much to me.
I suppose a lot of people say, looking at this year compared to last year, for example, you turned up here, you made a maximum, you put out the defending champion. How come, seemingly playing so well, you've taken that decision now?
Well, I mean, did I really play that well? I mean, I had one good session against Bingham where I made a maximum, and I made a few nice breaks. Against Higgins, I had not a bad session. Went 5-3 up, but apart from that, did I really play that well? I think so.
In the last few years, I know that you mentioned that you struggled with having to go playing in small tournaments, playing in cubicles.
Yeah.
Did you find that difficult because you were up against people who that at your best they couldn't live with you?
Yeah, difficult, and I think I've already said, playing people who for them it's a big day to play me, but for me it's not a big day to be in those cubicles with nobody watching. When you've played in the Crucible, and a full Crucible, the Wembley Conference Centre for the Masters, 2,500 people all over the world in front of big venues, and to play in front of those and these little things, the last year or two I've just not enjoyed it. It's not what I play snooker for. But that's not the only. There's a few reasons. Obviously, I'd like to spend more time with my family now, and just take it a bit easier.
How hard was it coming to the decision, discussing it with your family? I presume that you were going to do that.
Well, I mean, for the last sort of year or two, my wife and I sort of discussed, and how long will I keep doing this? How long will we'll keep practicing and going on the road and doing all this? But and as I say, last year after the World Championship, I admitted that I was having thoughts. But this year, yeah, about 2 or 3 months ago, I can't remember which tournament it was, and I just said to Mandy, I said, yeah, that's it.
And appropriate, in all seriousness, that the tournament that you choose to say goodbye in is the one that you'll be most fondly remembered for.
Well, I mean, it's the only place, isn't it? I mean, I certainly wasn't going to retire after playing in some PTC in Eastern Europe. It was always going to be the Crucible. I'm sorry. The place has meant so much to me through the years. I've had so many great memories. Youngest world champion, 7 times world champion, 3 maximums. It just doesn't get any better.
And people always want to ask you, Stephen, what's your greatest memory at the Crucible? I mean, I imagine it must be very difficult to try and pinpoint one.
It's really hard. I mean, even the first time I played here, although I lost to the legend as Willie Thorne in the first round, just to qualify and play it, it's a place you watch on TV for years, and then all of a sudden you find